My mother pretended to be dying of cancer for 5 years so that I would stay home. Hey, Reddit. I never imagined I'd spill this out loud, but when fate throws you curveballs like this, keeping quiet just isn't an option. Not for pity, but because sometimes you gotta unpack the mess piece by piece. And if any of you have dealt with family skeletons, you'll get why I'm sharing. My name's Alex. I'm 35, living in the outskirts of London, working at a small graphic firm. I hit it off with folks at the pub as a regular drinker, not a bartender. And yeah, my life was pretty ordinary until one sentence from my mom shattered my whole routine. "I've got cancer," Mom said, perched at the kitchen counter, her tone as steady as if she was reading the news ticker. She tacked on, "Don't freak out, kiddo. Docs say the odds are solid. We'll sort it." And right then I figured it'd play out like a movie. Determined specialists, surgeries, meal plans, heartfelt moments, prayers, then remission and a cozy family brunch with jam on toast. I bought into it, 'cause Mom's named Laura and she's always been the one who commands the room. Grin, a touch of flair, persuasive vibe, and my whole life. Folks gravitated to her like she was a beacon. She always got what she aimed for, but I never figured she'd turn that on me. When she dropped cancer, everything inside me froze and spun on autopilot. I flashed back to kid days, her dishing up stew, wrapping me in cozy scarves for winter, showing up at pals' parents to hype my projects. She was a model of toughness and warmth for so many. So everything after felt like a duty of respect. Quit the gig, rejig my schedule, move her in with me, keep watch. I thought that's what a son does, and I was all in. We bunked in a modest home on the edge of Manchester where train rumbles barely reach. And in winter, the crisp breeze stings your cheeks, and Mom always claimed this spot was perfect for peace. A dash of British tidiness, a bit of garden chaos. Early weeks were standard, doc visits, tests, lines, chats. Mom played it cool, dropped by my office, beamed at coworkers, chatted on the phone about fresh chapters, and begged no dramas when that day hit. And I watched people settle into the act like we were all strolling through a stage play. I recall that initial night, rising at 2 a.m. and catching myself timing till her call, 'cause my role seemed to include constant backup. Snag meds, fetch soup, book hospital stays, memorize appointment slots. I got used to it and thought it was normal. Loads of folks live like that until one day you spot odd bits, mismatched pieces, 'cause the plot, no matter how touching, sometimes leaves clues behind. Let me say up front, Mom was dramatic but not crazy. She knew how to talk so you'd trust her and always nailed vulnerability at the right beat. I adored her for it, and hugging her was second nature. But somewhere between the second and third oncologist trip, a weird vibe built in my head, not doubting the illness itself, but a tangible mismatch between doc words, actual medical files, and what Mom spun. And that's when I first felt a chill of unease, which I sadly chalked up to exhaustion from sleepless stretches. Those opening months blurred by. I'd grind at work daytime, evenings by Mom's bedside, we'd binge old monochrome flicks she adored, chat about existence. And at some point this pattern turned almost comfy routine. I was proud to be there to nurture, and that pride fueled me to ignore details that now, looking back, scream red flags. I covered pills, lined up physio, signed forms, and it all seemed legit, till one tiny slip became the first pebble in the landslide. It was a basic receipt for a private clinic in nearby Birmingham, neatly punched lines with amount, date, intake, clerk sign-off. I grabbed that receipt to audit costs. Mom's finances always struck me as tangled, post-divorce from Dad with a couple credit lines. And to be fair, I always kept tabs on her papers, calling it care. But scanning it, turns out some treatments got paid before Mom even buzzed me about the slot. Dates clashed with her tales of doc said hold off. I first blamed admin glitches, errors, but my gut whispered, dig deeper. I clammed up, kept it bottled for nearly a week because it felt like questioning would wreck what's already wobbly, Mom, our flow, her zen. But anxiety swelled because tiny glitches piled up. She'd mention chemo, yet no traces in her file at the ward. She claimed procedure day. She'd named docs no one at the place had heard of. And once I spotted a pill box she swore weekly must-have, still sealed shut. It all rings contradictory. How do you doubt something like cancer? I grasped the ethical tangle and stayed mum long, but deep down it dawned that I owed myself the truth, 'cause sticking in the show Mom directed around her meant losing myself. I pondered how outsiders, buddies, neighbors, workmates, saw her and bought in, and if I probed it could shatter not just her facade, but ties with everyone. But truth ain't something you shelf for later, 'cause a lie like that spreads like mold and devours the rest. Yet in that instant when I first cracked her file folder and spotted gaps, I couldn't fathom how huge this tale would balloon, and how beastly the fallout would get. I couldn't foresee that beyond the medical charade lay a string of debts, extortion, jaw-dropping admissions, and that truth would hit not just painful but demolishing. Not only for Mom, but our clan, for me personally, for the existence I cherished. I reckon care's like a drug that erodes reality's edges till you swallow any yarn if it comes with tears and pleas for aid. And I'm no outlier. In those early months when Mom announced her diagnosis, I was set to give it all for her. Hours, cash, dreams. And it seemed standard that a son ought to sacrifice for his mother, 'cause my mind clung to that old-school norm that families where we pay with affection and tending. But when tending turns manipulation tool, and the one you cherish wields your kindness like coin, you soon grasp the toll you're footing. My firm in central Manchester was my sanctuary, compact bright space overlooking a canal, a few plants that wilted more than I'd like, and a desk birthing concepts. After Mom started ailing, I increasingly hauled her stuff to the office. Swabs, outdated checkups, kits, vials of tabs. Colleagues first met it with empathy, then adapted, and eventually it got awkward 'cause the job demanded focus. But my brain stayed stuck there in Mom's kitchen, where she seemed to perform a part she scripted herself. Financially, it hammered. Private setups, plush personal rooms, pricey drugs, all demanded funds, and where before I could swing 1 or 2 sessions with a shrink for mental boost, now expense list stretched. Paid scans, consults at top spots, surprise trips to experts, late-night cabs to shuttle Mom to another meet, and I footed it 'cause I couldn't bear her begs. She mastered gazing at me so I couldn't bail. Eyes, half-smile, cracked voice, combo like a snippet of a fave tune that warms you up. Early months brimmed with doc talks, but the oddity was most docs were minor private pros who skipped long records and lacked tight entries in national systems. And when I tried big teaching hospitals, they'd say no trace of my mom. They'd blame red tape and slips, but my inner worry mounted 'cause stories didn't add. How's someone doing therapy courses at 3 spots at once, yet no one keeps her logs? Why no recall of addresses she hit for checks? Mom, meanwhile, dismantled my beliefs bit by bit. One day she quipped that every ache's a tale, and added she ain't chasing spotlight. But eyeing her gaze, I saw craving to be tended, to star, and it brewed a weird vibe. She was near hooked on attention and my hero gig, while I enacted a script penned long ago, not by me. One time I spotted an envelope with stamps in her room that struck odd. Front had an insurer's name she'd never dropped, and peeking I saw a small payout, claim for endured illness. And my insides clenched, 'cause insurance cash for major ailment ain't just bucks. It's proof someone verified the diagnosis, so if papers are bogus, then someone somewhere leaned on deceit for dough. But I couldn't outright blame Mom. I saw her struggles, heard her asks, and watched her weep nights, and who was I to hurl charges? I figured love means patience and embrace, so I lugged home whatever she might need. Covered rubs, boost, sessions, okayed it all just for her grin to stay serene. And the more I gave, the surer she appeared, fueling her to keep the ploy. Weirdnesses build slow, like ripples on a pond. First minor mismatches, then calls from sketchy digits begging call back. Then a cafe meet with a lady sobbing for aid, and my mom dubbed her old mate needing backup. And we paid 'cause what's wrong with helping folks? We're kin aiding other kin, but those outlays and pleas, seeming charity, wove into something slyer. Someone circling Mom ran a shady play, and I increasingly felt like a pawn in it. That's when I started jotting in a notebook. Appointment dates, sums, names, digits. Did it hush so Mom wouldn't spot? But as entries formed a picture, it turned ugly. Payments hit addresses of private clinics lacking licenses for big cancer ops. Calls rolled from the same line, but caller posed as varied folks. And one lady calling herself coordinator dished orders off protocol. Pay this quick or miss the window. Sounding like fraud script where feelings are levers. And still, even with notes and doubts, I didn't slam them on the table and yell, "You're faking." I dreaded shaming Mom, wrecking what little calm lingered, and chiefly, losing what passed for normal. Her beams, evening teas, our tiny habits. But doubt's like a weed, it sprouts and sprawls, and long months of backing became my trial. Keep the dutiful son act or chase truth at any cost. The final nudge was a bank call. Manager asked to verify a transfer. Big chunk from Mom's card, and my insides shifted, 'cause sums draining her account clearly topped her means. And suddenly it clicked that illness wasn't mere care prompt. It was a gear pulling finances, and someone outside reaped gains. I plunked at the table, flipped open the notebook, and knew, no more delay. I long thought it all coincidences. That date mix-ups, weird receipts. Coordinator, rings, mere admin fallout. But the more I tried convincing myself, nothing dire brewed. the stronger the sense I dwelled in some fabricated take of my life, with Mom as director clutching the script in her noggin, and me just an actor clueless that the next scene's long drafted. It kicked off with one detail seeming minor. Mom always came back from treatment sans hospital scent. Those who have hit cancer wards know that whiff, blend of sanitizers, bleach, and sterile metal that clings to clothes. But Mom smelled of perfume, sometimes tea, even fresh pastries. I tried ignoring till one day I queried, "Why no wristbands, slips, nothing?" She grinned like I'd asked dumb and said, "They handle it all digital now. You just don't get how it's set up these days." I bobbed my head, but inside I knew she's lying. And that knowing weighed like a rock in my chest, 'cause I didn't want to buy that a mom could fib about cancer. Next week's I morphed into a sleuth, though I barely clocked it. I copied every paper I eyed. Evenings, with Mom asleep, I'd sift her phone. Sounds awful, I get it, but I had no choice. When you sense something alien lurks behind each word, you crave proof. And bam, one night I saw text with Dr. Harrington, the supposed lead on her care. But the number wasn't British. I traced it, a plane prepaid from France. I sat in the dark, staring at the screen, feeling it all crumble. My brain looped one thing: why? Next day, I hit the clinic Mom called Thames Health Hub. Didn't say who I was, just asked to confirm patient Laura Thompson's treatment. Receptionist eyed the monitor, clicked a few times, and said, "Sorry, no such patient here." I pushed. "Maybe a mix-up, she's been months." She replied, "We don't even have that doctor you mentioned." And right there at the desk, legs buckling, I got it. This ain't just odd, it's fabrication, from square one. I stepped out, slumped on a bench, and zoned for 10 minutes. Head buzzed. World felt fake, like a film where I blanked my line. Breeze rustled leaves, tube rumbled distant, people chuckled. And inside me it felt like I'd croaked, body lagging. I was lost on next moves. Yell, weep, confront. But if she lied, there was a motive. What? Control, cash, or dread I'd bolt. That night I didn't crash. Flipped through notes, receipts, mails, and the more I matched, the clearer. The cancer yarn started round when I planned moving to my girl in Edinburgh. I was on the cusp, new job, romance, fresh start. And right then Mom said, "I'm rough, need hospital stat." Then, "I've got cancer." And I stuck. Chills hit, not from draft, but the idea it was orchestrated. Her ailment, not fluke, but tool. Morning after, I resolved to vet everything. Hit the pharmacy she hit for meds, showed the list. Pharmacist scanned and said, "Some of these we never stock. Others, just multivitamins. One was straight up a web supplement." I bolted outside, shaking. I knew that's it, no error, lie. But how tell the woman who birthed you? How utter, "I know you made it up." 'Cause that's not mere charge, it's severing the bond that held us lifelong. I rang Jake, childhood mate, always there. He listened ages, then said, "Al, maybe she needs help, mental kind. This ain't plain lie, it's attention addiction. You saying she's sick, just not how she claims." "Yeah," he said, "sounds like Munchausen by proxy, via you." First time I heard that term. Munchausen syndrome by proxy, when someone fakes illness, theirs or another's, for pity, power, affection. And the more I mulled, the more pieces clicked. But guesses are one thing, proof another's. I knew gotta catch her red-handed. Following days blurred in trance. I clocked work, grinned at team, but inside taut as wire. Started fact-checking Mom's every word move. She claimed clinic run, I tailed. Yeah, felt sleazy, but truth demanded. First tail Monday, she left with bag for docs, hopped bus. I pedaled behind, block back. Bus halted at mall. She got off, headed not to clinic but cafe, ordered tea, window seat, pulled tablet, sat over an hour, then shopped clothes, bought stuff, home in 2 hours. I rolled in later, playing dumb. "How'd treatment go?" I asked. She smiled, weary. "Long session today, tough, but I'm hanging on." Nausea hit me. Next day I shadowed again. She met some woman mid-40s. Park bench, sipped tea, laughed. I snapped pics from afar. Evening, overheard her on phone. "Yeah, he still buys it. Yeah, I'll wire tomorrow." Then it dawned, this ain't just attention grab. It's a con. Money, schemes, maybe blackmail. I rifled her drawer for docs, including insurance. There, tick for cancer comp. Attached fake reports with non-existent docs stamp. Panic surged. If exposed, she faces charges. If I hush, I'm complicit. Clueless where to turn. I drove to that Dr. Harrington, address from papers. Turned out old furniture depot. No clinic, no office, just dust whiff and padlock. Stood before that depot, realizing I dwell in delusion. My mom's no ill lady. She's a deceiver, maybe crook. Drove home silent, no tunes. Evening, sat across her at table, first time couldn't meet her eyes. She yapped on new therapy round, while I pondered papers in my bag. When she hit the sack, I fired up phone recorder and whispered. Tomorrow I ask straight. If she lies, I'll spill all. Sleepless till dawn. Next morn I rose before her. Kitchen smelled of coffee she'd brewed eve prior for quick reheat her habit. Sat facing mug, watched steam rise, fade in flats chill. Heart pounded low, hands quivered. Knew today shifts everything. No rewind post this chat. When she entered, robe, smile like routine. I felt odd pity. For the woman lifelong my core pillar, but now alien like not mom, but performer playing mom, and I finally spotted seams on her mask. Mom, I said, aiming steady, we gotta talk. She furrowed slight, but sat no queries. Sure, kid, what's up? Pulled from folder copied docs, those phony reports, statements, insurance, laid on table. She froze, didn't touch, just eyed me like I'd flashed horror. I went to the clinic, I said. No one knows you, and Dr. Harrington's fake. Silence, even wall clock seemed hushed. She looked away, lips trembled. You shouldn't have gone, she murmured. Had to, I countered, cause I need what's real. Her breath hitched, ran hand through hair, rose to window. You don't get it, she finally said. I just wanted you to stay, not abandon me. I stared, disbelieving. You faked cancer so I wouldn't leave. My voice dulled, near breaking. She turned, tears in eyes, but not sympathy pullers. Fear, tears, exposure. After your dad passed, I couldn't be solo. You were my only left. When you said moving, I couldn't, scared I'd lose you forever. So you lied, pretended dying. Thought short-term, she stepped near, figured you'd stick months while I bounced back, but it snowballed. I hushed, cause inside no words, just void. And the money, I finally asked. You cashed insurance, drew benefits, begged me for treatment cash. She dropped gaze. Needed to make it believable, planned to repay later. Fists clenched, chest rising with anger, not frenzy, cold, icy. You stole years of my life, Mom, made me think you were fading, lived daily dreading loss, and you just feared alone. She advanced, tried touching my arm, but I yanked back. Did it all for love, she whispered. That's no love, I said. That's a cage. We stood silent till a train clattered outside, leaving brief metallic squeal. Then I knew I can't stay here, not this flat, not with her. Packed bags, no scene, no tears, just quiet. She doorway tried talking, but I tuned out. As I left, she yelled, You'll see, someday you'll get I just wanted you close. Didn't turn. First day's post crashed at Jake's. He tried jokes, distractions, but I was scorched inside. Chats felt phony. Walked streets, saw folks laughing, hugging, thought, how trust anyone if even Mom can deceive so? Week later, letter from insurer. Auditing, someone tipped on potential fraud. I knew who, me. Sent docs, pics, recordings, not to punish, but couldn't carry as secret. Month-on charges filed, skipped hearing. Jake said wise, but shame lingered for her, me, how it ended. Then her letters, rambling, messy, begged forgiveness, claimed overdid for best. No reply, not hate, just wordless. At some point I realized I lived not her lie, but mine, survival facade. Pretended fine, tough lesson. But nights woke from nightmares like her calling. 6 months left. Took 3 years to truly voice it. Relocated, new digits, fresh start. Only lately, spotting a cafe woman like her, realized, still await her call. Sorry. But maybe that's love's curse. You can leave, but inside lingers shred of who wrecked you. Sometimes I ponder, maybe I should have got it. She's no foe, just human buckling under loneliness. But recall those days, drips that weren't meds as vitamins, her shaky hands on doc queries, and no, love grants no right to hostage another's life. And perhaps the sole lesson, don't rescue drowners if they drag you under. 5 years passed. I reside in Toronto, flat overlooking a waterway where mornings tour boats glide, their shouts waking pre-alarm. New existence, job, woman I truly cherish, dog always thrilled to see me, all I feared claiming. Rarely mull past, only sometimes coffee sent echoes that kitchen morn chat with Mom, or cancer word flips a switch inside like lights out. That day I got home late, mailbox held envelope sans return, yellowed paper, neat script, knew at instant that hand I'd seen endless on fridge notes, Kid, dinner in oven. Don't forget milk. Love you. Hesitated opening long. Sat kitchen lit up stared like bomb inside, not sheet. Finally tore. Dear my boy. If reading this I mustered guts to write. Not begging pardon, no I don't deserve. Live in senior home near Chicago. Now real cancer, ironic, eh? Docs say short time, but not writing for pity. Just wanna say each morn waking, think not illness but you. See you leave that flat, no glance back, and get, then I lost all, not son, purpose. If you ever have a son, don't hold by fear. Let go, let him path own. Not asking meat, just wanted you know I recall all and love. Mom. Read through, sat still. Chest odd, not rage, not hurt, weary acceptance. Like inside, softly shut, breathing eased. Didn't know if illness true again, maybe another ploy or real end. But first in years, no fear, just thanks that it's finally over. Didn't visit, not hate, just sometimes forgiveness needs no meat. It just happens, inside, quiet, wordless, sans drama. Month later, card from facility admin, brief. Mrs. Thompson passed peacefully in sleep, asked convey you were her pride. Tucked card in desk drawer. No tears, no booze, just stepped out, inhaled crisp air, strolled by waterway. And first in 5 years felt I live not for someone, not despite something, but just 'cause I can.